So let's take this acrylic one for instance. Okay. Actually, do you have one like this that's kind of something that's not perfectly square? Actually, let's use this one, and let's go to this one after we do the cake knife, because actually the cake knife was a good example, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So setting the material, what needs to happen when you're setting the material? You need to position it properly, and you need to make sure that it doesn't move. So you've been using the multi-mat, right?
Yeah.
And as long as there's a large flat surface area, the multi-mat works great. Have you ever had a part move?
Yeah, sometimes when I hold it down.
Right. Because the multi-mat is great for like plastic. For cake knives, personally I wouldn't recommend it. I would use a fixture to hold it better. I mean, if you hold it like there, you know, it won't move.
Yeah, I'll usually hold it down.
Right, but still, and very experienced engravers will know where to hold it, but safety-wise, it's always a concern because, you know, you're holding it there and it might come down on your finger or whatever. So if you're going to do it this way, there are a couple ways to help it out. I use a technique called blocking, and what blocking is you put another piece, and do you have any thinner material that's small? I mean, these work.
This thing.
Actually, these work great. Give me another one that's busted or previously engraved. Yeah, that's fine. Right. The reason why these are good is because if you have a point, you know, you can easily do that, right? I can easily wedge it up against something.
Oh,
Let me just cancel this. Okay, and then on a flat side here, so what you'll notice is you want to stop movement in this way and that way, the X and the Y. Yeah. So when I block something, I'll usually put it against an edge like that, and look how much more stable it is, right?
Okay.
Without me having to hold it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Right? So part of setting the material is to ensure that the material doesn't move.
Okay.
Okay? Now, here's the issue with using a tall piece like this. You see this nose cone right here? Right? The nose cone might run into this. Then you're going to have a problem. However, that leads us into the next step.
So something like the height of like an iPhone, is that a better...
Something like the height of whatever material you're using,
okay.
right?
Okay, right. Flush.
Yeah. So like all of those small little triangles,
These guys.
cut them open and use them because they're just sitting there, right?
Perfect, yeah.
Right. So
These triangles.
So we've set the material. Step 2, set the tool. So with a piece of metal, you're going to use the NRD, right? Non-rotating diamond. The 120 right here talks about the angle of the diamond on the bottom. So any metal that you're going to use, you're typically using a non-rotating diamond. And it's just a scribe technique like you've been doing. But the angle of the diamond is 120 degrees on the bottom, and it should say that here, 120 degrees.
Oh, okay.
That's how you know it's a non-rotating diamond. Okay? So, here's how I can solve the problem of the nose cone running into this. I have about that much travel, right? So I can lower the tool right there, because it's just the diamond pressing on the metal, right? And let me explain, and maybe you didn't get this explanation, but what's happening here is there's a sensor right here, right, and a piece of metal. When this goes down and touches the metal, you see the light right here,
Oh yeah.
right?
Okay.
It's tripping the sensor. What it's saying is, hey, I've hit the material, start engraving. So it doesn't matter if you're using a low material like this, or maybe something a little bit thicker, or maybe something a little bit thicker. As long as it presses up and trips that sensor, this is known as the proximity sensor, right? It goes down, it triggers the sensor, then it starts engraving. So this is an automatic surface finding feature, that proximity sensor right there. Okay? So I've lowered this here so that when this comes over the material, right, and it comes down, like that, even if I go this way, I'm going to miss it,
Yeah.
right? So I can use that. I have enough clearance for this nose cone. Because if that nose cone was low, it's going to run into it, and you're going to have problems.
Okay.
Let's go to home.
That was just because you adjusted it on height-wise.
Right.
From the
Because
beginning.
it's not going to matter. You're just scratching metal. The nose cone matters when you're doing plastic and acrylic and wood, but it's not going to matter on the metal.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the longer you have it, the more that this might do this, right? It's called tool deflection. The thing is, it's a diamond scratching metal, and you don't have a lot of side force moving the tool, so you're going to be fine.
Okay.
Okay. So we've set our material. We made sure it didn't move. We've set our tool and allowed for clearance if we need it on this particular job on metal, right? Every type of material is going to be different, but as long as you set the material, set the tool, set the home, set the surface, you're going to be in good shape. Okay? So next, setting the tool, we've set the tool, now we need to set home, right? And you learned the measure feature, which is an excellent feature for you to use, right? So if I go here, and go ahead and open up whatever you'd put on that. So you're going to open the job. Yep. Perfect. So then you're going to come in here, and this is what you normally do. You go
Just
plate size, and then measure, right?
Measure, yeah.
Okay. And so you understand that you need to give it an
Well,
upper left and a lower right, right?
It's actually in, what is that in acrylic? We need to change that.
Right. Now here's what I'm going to say about that.
No?
That you can change after the fact.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to worry about it right now.
Oh, okay.
You can change it after the fact.
Okay.
Okay. And watching your technique, I know they didn't show you this one part, so I'll show you where you do that. So what matters here is we're setting our home. When you're setting an upper left corner, you're essentially setting home here, right? So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to jog the table right here, right? It's my upper left corner. Okay? I hit next. And now it's asking for the lower right. Now, keep in mind that if I moved here, I might have my tool too low. So just for, positioning purposes, I'm going to take that out or lift it up, right? I come across and say I want my lower right to be right there, right? Go ahead and hit finish for me. Okay. Now, outline material, right?
Yeah.
If I hit enter, it'll outline and preview my plate for me,
Yeah.
right? And you know about that.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'll just keep the engraving up by the top. You always want to exit out of this menu.
Yeah.
An important rule of thumb with our machines. Don't move faster than the pendant. Don't move faster than the software. If it's locked up somehow, it's because skips were stepped, or steps were skipped. Steps were skipped, and you're going to need to power down, and worst case scenario, power down the machine, power it on, restart the software. And I'm sure you've had to do that a time or two,
Yes.
right? Okay. So never move faster or out of order, and never move faster or out of order on the software. So when I'm done, I hit exit. Okay. Notice it went here, and that my X and Y position are now 0, 0. The home on our system, when you're engraving flat, is always the upper left-hand corner. That's the 0, 0 point, right? And our design starts wherever you've set home. So if I click OK, so that one thing that measure feature does is it sets our custom home with the machine, and two, it calculates the plate size and adjusts it accordingly in the software. So if I click, so now it's already changed that. I can choose it here, right? After the fact, I can choose metals, diamond, drag, and we're using T-slot. One thing I'm going to tell you about this thickness, let's just set it at 10 and don't mess with it.